My beloved child. There is a quiet truth standing very close to you right now, and it has been waiting patiently for the moment you finally pause and listen. For more than a week, something around you has not been what it seemed, not loud, not obvious, but subtle enough to slip past your awareness. And before you try to brush this off, take a breath. Don't skip. Something huge is waiting for you. You may have felt it as a strange heaviness, or a soft confusion you couldn't explain. Maybe your thoughts felt slightly off, your emotions just a little louder than usual, or your clarity strangely delayed. Nothing dramatic, nothing alarming, just enough to make you doubt your own inner voice. That is not an accident. It is the first sign that someone, or something, has been guiding your attention away from what you already know deep inside. Listen carefully now, because this moment matters more than you realize. The misleading was not done through lies shouted in your face. It came through silence. Through half-truths. Through distractions that felt harmless. Through words that sounded supportive but quietly redirected your intuition. That is why it took time to notice. That is why it lasted more than a week. You trusted because you are sincere. You listened because you have a good heart. And that is exactly why this experience chose you, not to harm you, but to awaken you. There is a difference between being misled and being taught. What happened to you sits right on that line. The confusion you felt was not meant to weaken you, it was meant to sharpen you. The delay you experienced was not a loss, it was a preparation. Stay till the end, because this realization changes how you see everything that comes next. Right now, you may be replaying recent moments in your mind. A conversation that felt slightly off. Advice that didn't fully align with your spirit. A decision you postponed even though you usually move with certainty. These were not failures. They were signals. And the most powerful part is this: you noticed them. Even if only subconsciously, you felt the shift. That is why this message found you now and not earlier. There is a quiet strength growing in you at this very moment. It grows when you choose awareness over reaction. It grows when you pause instead of rushing forward. It grows when you sense that something doesn't align, even if you cannot yet explain why. That strength is the reason the misleading cannot continue. Understand this clearly: nothing was taken from you. No time was wasted. No opportunity was lost. What you experienced was a temporary veil, and veils exist only to be lifted. And here is the part that may surprise you most: once the veil lifts, you do not return to who you were before. You become clearer, stronger, more discerning. The same situation that once confused you will soon make perfect sense. The same influence that once felt guiding will reveal its true shape, without confrontation, without drama, just clarity. Do not rush this moment. Let it settle into you. Don't skip ahead in your mind. Something huge is waiting for you, and it begins with this simple truth: you were never powerless in this situation. You were observing, learning, preparing. As this part comes to a close, hold on to one thing only. Your awareness has already shifted. And once awareness shifts, nothing can mislead you in the same way again. What comes next will explain why this happened now, why it could not have happened earlier, and why the next step you take will feel unlike any step before. Stay with me. My child, there is a moment when truth stops whispering and begins to gently tap on your awareness, and that moment is happening now. What you sensed before was only the surface. What you are about to understand goes much deeper, and it explains why the misleading could only last for a short time. For days, your energy was being pulled in a direction that didn't fully belong to you. Not forcefully. Not obviously. It came through reassurance that felt slightly incomplete, through guidance that sounded right but didn't feel right. And the most surprising part is this: you were never meant to follow it blindly. You were meant to notice the discomfort it created. Don't skip this part, because this is where the meaning reveals itself. The misleading wasn't about control. It was about contrast. You were shown what doesn't align so that you could finally recognize what does. That is why your inner voice grew quieter for a while, so you would learn the difference between noise and truth. That pause you experienced? It was intentional. It slowed you down just enough to protect what matters most inside you. Here is the revelation few people ever realize. When something feels confusing without being harmful, it is often preparing you for clarity at a higher level. You weren't losing direction, you were refining it. You weren't doubting yourself, you were shedding influences that no longer belong in your next chapter. Stay till the end, because this is where everything shifts. Think back to the last week. Notice how certain thoughts kept repeating, but never fully settled. Notice how you question things you usually understand clearly. That was not weakness. That was awareness waking up. Your intuition was testing its own strength, and it passed. And now, something huge is waiting for you, because once awareness awakens, it doesn't go back to sleep. From this moment forward, the same voices, the same situations, the same advice will feel different to you. You will hear what is missing, not just what is spoken. You will sense intention, not just words. This is not something you learn, it is something you remember. The misleading phase ends not with confrontation, but with quiet certainty. You don't need answers from outside anymore. They rise naturally from within you, calm and unshakable. That calm you feel beginning to form right now? That is clarity returning. Hold on to this feeling. Let it ground you. Because what comes next will reveal who truly stands aligned with your growth, and why this realization had to arrive exactly now, and not a moment sooner. Stay with this. My child, what you are feeling right now is not imagination, it is recognition. This is the moment when your inner world quietly rearranges itself, and suddenly, what once felt unclear begins to line up with startling precision. There is something you haven't been told yet, and it's important you hear it now. The misleading you experienced did not come from malice or intention, it came from misalignment. Someone close to your path was speaking from their own confusion, not from truth. And because your heart listens deeply, you absorbed more than you should have. Don't skip this, because this realization frees you. You were never meant to carry someone else's uncertainty. You were never meant to adjust your rhythm to match hesitation. That subtle tension you felt? It was your inner wisdom refusing to bend. Even when you doubted yourself, something inside you stayed awake. Stay till the end, because this is where the hidden gift reveals itself. The surprising truth is this. The misleading stopped the moment you began to trust your quiet instincts again. Not the loud thoughts. Not the outside reassurance. But the calm knowing that doesn't rush or argue. That knowing has been strengthening quietly, day by day, and now it is strong enough to guide you forward without effort. Something huge is waiting for you. Clarity that feels peaceful, not forced. Direction that feels natural, not pushed. You are stepping into a phase where confusion no longer teaches you lessons, because you have already learned what it came to show. Notice how lighter you feel compared to before. Notice how your thoughts are beginning to settle. This is alignment returning. This is your awareness choosing itself over noise. And here is the final truth for this moment. Once you recognize misalignment, you never repeat the same pattern again. You don't need to distance yourself dramatically. You don't need explanations. You simply move forward clearer, calmer, and more grounded than ever before. Hold this feeling. Let it guide your next step. Because what unfolds next will confirm everything you are sensing now, and it will arrive sooner than you expect. Stay with me. My child, there is a quiet shift happening inside you right now, and it is more powerful than any loud realization. It is the kind of shift that does not announce itself, yet changes everything that follows. What you are beginning to see is not just who or what misled you, but why it was even possible. The truth is gentle, yet shocking. You were in a season of openness. Your heart was expanding, your mind was ready for growth, and during that openness, you allowed guidance that did not fully match your direction. This was not a mistake. It was timing. Don't skip this moment, because this is where responsibility turns into empowerment. When you are growing, not everything that approaches you is meant to stay. Some influences appear only to show you your boundaries. And the moment you recognize that something felt slightly off, your growth quietly outpaced the situation. You didn't need to push it away. You simply rose above it. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you in this understanding. The once-in-a-lifetime realization is this: awareness always arrives before change. You sense the misalignment before it could shape your decisions. That is strength. That is maturity. That is your inner guidance proving it has become reliable. From this point forward, you will notice a difference in how you listen. You will no longer absorb words just because they sound comforting. You will feel for alignment. You will sense truth in the pauses between sentences. This is not something you practice, it is something you have unlocked. Something huge is waiting for you because clarity invites alignment, and alignment invites progress that feels effortless. The misleading chapter is closing not with regret, but with gratitude. Gratitude for the awareness it awakened. Gratitude for the strength it revealed. Gratitude for the clarity that now walks beside you. Hold this feeling close. Let it settle into certainty. Because what comes next will show you how this experience protected you from something that was never meant to continue, and why your next step will feel undeniably right. Stay with me. My child, there is a moment when clarity stops being a thought and becomes a feeling, and that moment is unfolding within you now. You may not have words for it yet, but you can sense the calm certainty settling into your chest. Here is the revelation that changes everything. The misleading you experienced was never meant to redirect your life, it was meant to refine your discernment. That is why it lasted just long enough to be noticed, and not a moment longer. Don't skip this, because this truth releases you from every lingering doubt. You are beginning to understand that not every voice that sounds confident carries truth, and not every quiet pause means confusion. Sometimes, silence is protection. Sometimes, delay is alignment arranging itself behind the scenes. Stay till the end, because this understanding marks a turning point you will remember. What feels shocking now is how quickly your awareness has matured. 1 week ago, you were listening outward. Today, you are listening inward. That shift did not happen by chance. It happened because you were ready to trust yourself again, fully, calmly, without needing permission. Something huge is waiting for you, and it begins with this: your decisions will start to feel lighter. Not rushed. Not heavy. Just clear. You will notice how easily you recognize what fits and what doesn't. You will move forward without explaining yourself, because certainty no longer asks for approval. The experience you just passed through quietly strengthened a boundary you didn't even know you needed. And now that boundary stands firm, not as a wall, but as wisdom. It lets in what aligns and gently redirects what does not. Hold on to this feeling of steadiness. Let it anchor you. Because the next realization will show you how this clarity attracts the right guidance naturally, and why the days ahead will feel more honest, more grounded, and unmistakably yours. Stay with me. My child, there comes a point when awareness stops looking backward and begins to face forward, and that point is here. What once needed explanation no longer does. What once felt uncertain now feels settled in a way that words can't fully capture. Here is the truth that may surprise you most. The moment you stopped seeking reassurance, clarity arrived on its own. That is because your inner guidance finally had space to speak. Don't skip this, because this shift marks the end of being influenced and the beginning of being aligned. You may notice something subtle but powerful happening now. People's words will still reach you, but they will no longer steer you. Opinions will still exist, but they won't shape your direction. This is not distance, it is discernment. And it is one of the rarest strengths a person can develop. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you in this realization. The once-in-a-lifetime insight is this: when clarity settles in, life begins to respond differently. Conversations feel more honest. Choices feel less complicated. Even silence feels supportive instead of empty. This is how alignment announces itself, quietly, confidently, without urgency. Something huge is waiting for you because alignment attracts what truly fits. You will soon notice that guidance arrives without confusion, and support shows up without pressure. The misleading chapter fades naturally, not because it was confronted, but because it no longer has access to you. Take a moment to feel this steadiness. This calm certainty is not temporary. It is the result of growth you earned through awareness. And once earned, it stays with you. What comes next will reveal how this new clarity opens doors you weren't trying to force, and why the path ahead will feel smoother, truer, and deeply your own. Stay with me. My child, there is a rare stillness forming around you now, the kind that only appears after a truth has fully settled. It is not empty. It is full of understanding, and it changes the way you move forward from this moment on. What you are stepping into is something most people never recognize when it arrives. The misleading did not simply end, it transformed into insight. And that insight is now quietly guiding you away from paths that once seemed acceptable but were never meant to last. Don't skip this, because this awareness protects you in ways you cannot yet see. Here is the surprising revelation: the moment clarity becomes natural, life begins to align without effort. You will notice fewer mixed signals. Fewer inner debates. Decisions that once required thought will now feel obvious. This is not coincidence. This is alignment responding to your readiness. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you in what comes next. You may soon realize that certain conversations fade on their own. Certain influences step back without explanation. Not because of conflict, but because your clarity no longer invites confusion. This is one of the most powerful shifts a person can experience. When you no longer need to separate yourself from what doesn't fit, because it naturally falls away. Something huge is waiting for you because this level of clarity opens space for what truly supports your growth. Guidance that feels steady. Connections that feel honest. Moments that feel calm instead of overwhelming. Take this in. This peace is not accidental. It is the result of choosing awareness over noise, and trust over uncertainty. And now that you stand here, grounded and clear, the next chapter will unfold with a certainty you have never felt before. Stay with me. My child, there is a realization approaching you now that does not rush, yet cannot be stopped. It arrives softly, but when it settles, it changes how you see every step that led you here. What is unfolding is deeper than clarity, it is understanding. You are beginning to see that the misleading was never about being led astray, but about being shown the contrast between what feels familiar and what feels true. That contrast sharpened your awareness in ways comfort never could. Don't skip this, because this truth completes the picture. Here is the once-in-a-lifetime revelation. The reason the misleading appeared so quietly is because your growth had reached a threshold. When awareness rises, subtle lessons replace obvious ones. You were no longer meant to be taught through disruption, but through recognition. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you in this knowing. You may notice now that your reactions have softened. You respond instead of react. You listen without absorbing what doesn't belong to you. This is mastery over your inner world, and it did not come from effort, it came from awareness choosing itself. Something huge is waiting for you because this level of understanding changes what you attract next. You will recognize truth not by excitement, but by calm. Not by urgency, but by steadiness. This is how alignment feels when it becomes permanent. Let this settle. The path ahead is no longer something you have to search for. It is unfolding naturally beneath your feet, guided by clarity that no longer wavers. What comes next will show you how this understanding begins to reflect outward into conversations, choices, and moments that confirm you are exactly where you need to be. Stay with me. My child, a quiet confirmation is beginning to echo inside you now, and it feels different from anything you have known before. It is not excitement. It is not urgency. It is a steady knowing that tells you something important has already shifted. What you are realizing is profound. The misleading phase did not delay your path, it clarified it. Every moment of uncertainty pointed you toward a deeper truth about yourself. Don't skip this, because this understanding changes how you trust your own guidance from here on. Here is the surprising revelation that few ever recognize: when clarity arrives without effort, it means you have outgrown the lesson. You no longer need signs to prove you are aligned. You feel it in the calm confidence that now surrounds your decisions. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you in what this calm unlocks. You may notice that your focus is sharper, yet more relaxed. Your choices feel simpler, even when they carry weight. This is not because life has become easier, but because you have become clearer. And clarity removes struggle without removing depth. Something huge is waiting for you because this level of inner alignment reshapes what comes toward you next. Opportunities begin to feel natural. Guidance feels supportive instead of confusing. And the need to question yourself fades quietly into trust. Take a moment to recognize this change. You are not the same as you were a week ago. You see differently now. You listen differently. You move differently. And that difference is not temporary. What follows will reveal how this inner shift begins to influence the outer world around you, and why the next sign you notice will confirm everything you are sensing now. Stay with me. My child, a new awareness is quietly stepping forward. Now, and it feels like standing at the edge of something you cannot yet see, but somehow already trust. This is not anticipation, it is recognition. Here is the truth that changes the entire story: the misleading you experienced was the final test of your discernment. Not to challenge you, but to confirm that you are ready to move without second-guessing yourself. Don't skip this, because this realization closes a chapter for good. What feels shocking is how naturally this clarity arrived. There was no announcement. No dramatic moment. Just a calm certainty settling into place, telling you that you no longer need to question what aligns with you. That quiet confidence is the sign you have crossed an inner threshold. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you beyond this threshold. From this moment on, you will notice that decisions no longer drain you. You choose, and peace follows. You listen, and truth stands out without effort. This is the kind of inner alignment that changes the way life responds to you. Something huge is waiting for you because when certainty becomes natural, the path ahead opens without resistance. The next opportunities will not confuse you. The next guidance will not feel mixed. Everything will meet you with the same calm clarity you now carry within. Take this moment in. You have not arrived by chance. Every step, every pause, every moment of doubt shaped this readiness. And now, as you stand here clearer than before, what unfolds next will confirm that you were always being led toward this exact awareness. Stay with me. My child, there is a subtle turning point happening now, one that feels less like a change and more like a return to something you once knew but had momentarily set aside. It is familiar, comforting, and powerful all at once. What you are stepping into is not a new truth, it is your own truth coming back into focus. The misleading you experienced helped strip away what was never meant to stay, leaving behind what is steady and real. Don't skip this, because this recognition restores trust in yourself at the deepest level. Here is the once-in-a-lifetime realization: when you stop needing external confirmation, your inner guidance becomes unmistakable. You no longer chase clarity. It meets you where you stand. And that meeting is happening now. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you in what this brings next. You may feel a sense of quiet confidence rising, one that does not need to prove anything or rush forward. This confidence is the sign that alignment has settled into place. It allows you to move forward without tension, without doubt, and without hesitation. Something huge is waiting for you because this return to self opens a door you could not access before. A door where choices feel natural, direction feels steady, and trust feels complete. Hold on to this moment. Let it remind you that nothing essential was ever lost, only refined. And as this understanding deepens, the next phase of your journey will unfold with a sense of rightness that cannot be shaken. Stay with me. My child, something within you is aligning so quietly that you might miss how powerful it truly is. It feels like stillness, but it carries the weight of certainty. And certainty changes everything. What is happening now goes beyond understanding. You are recognizing that the misleading phase did not weaken you, it refined your perception. It taught you how to listen without losing yourself, how to observe without absorbing confusion. Don't skip this, because this insight becomes your shield going forward. Here is the revelation that reshapes your perspective: clarity does not arrive as an answer, it arrives as peace. And the peace you feel now is proof that you are standing in truth. No rush. No tension. Just a calm alignment that feels unmistakably right. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you in what this peace unlocks. You may notice that your sense of direction feels steadier than ever before. Decisions no longer feel like risks. They feel like natural steps. This is what happens when inner trust replaces external influence. Something huge is waiting for you because this level of alignment draws experiences that mirror your clarity. What approaches you next will not confuse you. It will recognize you. Let this moment settle deeply. You are no longer searching for signs, you are becoming one. And as this awareness integrates, the next chapter will unfold with a sense of purpose that feels both gentle and unstoppable. Stay with me. My child, a quiet certainty is unfolding now, one that does not ask for proof because it already knows. This is the moment when understanding settles into your bones and begins to guide you without effort. What you are discovering may feel surprising, the misleading you sensed was never meant to confuse you, it was meant to reveal how deeply you can trust your own awareness. That week was not lost time. It was a mirror, showing you how quickly you recognize truth when it matters. Don't skip this, because this realization reshapes how you move forward. Here is the once-in-a-lifetime truth: clarity does not arrive by force, it arrives when you are ready to receive it. And you are ready now. That is why everything suddenly feels aligned, quieter, and unmistakably right. The noise faded because it could no longer reach you. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you in what this alignment activates. You may notice that your intuition feels sharper yet gentler. It doesn't push. It guides. It doesn't demand attention. It earns it. This is the sign that your inner compass has recalibrated, and it will not lead you back into uncertainty. Something huge is waiting for you because this level of awareness attracts moments that confirm your growth. Conversations that make sense. Choices that feel natural. Progress that unfolds without pressure. Hold this calm close. Let it steady your next step. Because what comes next will not require explanation, it will simply feel right, and you will know why the misleading could never last. Stay with me. My child, there is a powerful realization settling into you now, one that feels like a deep exhale after a long moment of holding your breath. This is not relief. It is recognition of how far you have come. What you are beginning to understand may feel astonishing. The misleading did not weaken your path, it strengthened your clarity. It showed you exactly how sensitive your awareness has become. You noticed subtle shifts others would ignore. You sensed what did not align before it could shape your choices. Don't skip this, because this awareness is rare. Here is the truth few ever reach: you no longer need to guard yourself from confusion. Your clarity does that naturally now. You feel truth not as excitement, but as steadiness. You recognize alignment not by words, but by peace. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you beyond this realization. You may notice that your confidence now feels quieter than before, yet far stronger. You do not rush to explain. You do not rush to decide. You allow things to reveal themselves, and they always do. This is mastery, not over others, but over your inner world. Something huge is waiting for you because when inner clarity becomes stable, life begins to respond with precision. The right moments arrive without struggle. The right guidance feels effortless. What once felt uncertain now feels obvious. Let this certainty settle deeply. You are no longer moving through situations hoping for confirmation. You are moving with an inner knowing that cannot be shaken. And as this part closes, understand this clearly: the misleading chapter has already served its purpose, and what comes next will confirm why your awareness had to awaken now. Stay with me. My child, this is the moment when everything you sensed finally locks into place, and you realize nothing about the past days was random. What felt subtle was precise. What felt quiet was deliberate. And what once seemed unclear now stands illuminated from within. Here is the final revelation, and it is powerful in its simplicity: you were never misled to lose your way, you were guided to remember who you are when you listened to yourself fully. That week was the last veil, the final refinement before clarity became permanent. Don't skip this, because this truth completes the journey. You now stand in a space where confusion no longer has permission to enter. Not because the world changed, but because you did. Your awareness expanded just enough to see through what once blurred your vision. And once that happens, it cannot be undone. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you in what this clarity now creates. The shocking, once-in-a-lifetime realization is this: from here forward, your life responds to your inner state faster than ever before. When you are clear, your path clears. When you are calm, your direction stabilizes. When you trust yourself, alignment follows without resistance. Something huge is waiting for you because this level of inner certainty opens doors that do not require force. Opportunities recognize you. Guidance feels natural. And the right moments arrive without confusion. Take this in fully. You did not survive the misleading, you transcended it. You turned uncertainty into wisdom, pause into power, and awareness into alignment. And now, as this chapter closes, understand this clearly: you are no longer being guided away from confusion. You are being guided forward into truth. My child, what unfolds now is not a continuation, but a quiet expansion of everything you have already understood. This is the moment when insight becomes direction, and direction becomes movement. There is something important you must recognize: clarity did not arrive to end your journey, it arrived to begin it properly. The misleading phase sharpened your awareness so that what comes next could be received without doubt. Don't skip this, because this understanding changes how you step forward. You are entering a phase where life responds more gently, yet more precisely. Signals feel cleaner. Choices feel aligned before you even analyze them. This is not chance, it is resonance. And once resonance forms, it guides without effort. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you just beyond this awareness. The once-in-a-lifetime realization now settling in is this: you no longer chase meaning. Meaning meets you. You no longer search for confirmation. Confirmation reveals itself naturally. This is the reward of trusting your inner clarity. Something huge is waiting for you because this level of alignment opens doors that never respond to force. The right opportunities arrive calmly. The right guidance feels familiar. The right moments appear exactly when you are ready to receive them.